Hey YouTube, this is Mike, Southwest Virginia Land Clearing. I've been looking forward to getting a new video out, and been pretty busy lately, so also trying to figure out how I'm going to do it, because we did a job and I want to show you the job, but it only really makes sense in the context of what we've already done there. So you know, this is a spot that I started working at back in July, and so did some work there in July, some more in August, some more in November, and then we were back in January. And so I want to show you the January part, but I really felt like I needed to go back and get some of the footage from this other stuff that we did first, so you can see where we started. And so this is a part 1 of 2 video. This is just everything that led up to the job that we did in January. And so this is from back in July. I rented this machine back then. I had it for 2 weeks. It was the 2 hottest weeks of the year. It's probably over 100 degrees when I was doing this, and it was pretty miserable out. It was, of course, more comfortable inside the machine, but so anyway, this is the beginning of the process. This is working for a guy that I've known for a long time. In fact, I've worked for him before. I've worked with him before. Did some electrical work with him. He's an electrician, and he was my parents' next door neighbor for quite a few years. But this summer he bought this place, and then they moved in, and the views are gorgeous. You can see just marvelous views in several directions. But the problem is the trees had grown up over the years, and so a lot of the views have been blocked. And so, you know, as soon as I told him I was going to be doing this, he said, well, I'd like to get you up here and do some of this, and sort of at least get the process started. And so so that's what I did, and that's what you're looking at. And so then I went back in August, and you'll see some pictures of this later on in the video, but they bought the house, they closed on it, and then immediately we had this vicious rainstorm, and it absolutely obliterated the driveway, really tore it up badly. So I came back in August and completely renovated the driveway, and then in November we came back and took out a handful of trees that were blocking views, and I didn't have the mulcher yet. I didn't know it at the time, but that was within about a week and a half of when I bought the mulcher. And so, but I knew I was going to get one, I was pretty sure, so we left all the branches and everything to come back and process later, which is what we did in January, so, and then cleared more land. So anyway, so again, this is all the footage from July, and then we'll move on to some other stuff. Mostly I'm going to let this video just run. A lot of this video is the actual cutting down the trees. We'll get to that here in just a minute. Now, this is just within about 2 weeks of Benji starting to work with me, so he really enjoys the tree work, and so do I. And so we're started to do some trees together here, and we wanted to rig these trees. There's 4 right here next to the house, and Two of them were pretty straightforward because they were angled away from the house, so we just cut those down. There was a third one that wasn't really inclined toward the house, but we wanted to be 100% sure, so we went ahead and rigged it, and you'll see that here in a minute. At the time, we were rigging with just some straps. We've since have a rigging rope. But the first one we rigged was practice for the one that was closest to the house, because the one that was closest to the house was the one that was the largest, and two, it was the one that looked like it was the most likely to actually fall back toward the house. And so we wanted to be, again, 100% sure that it wasn't going to fall back toward the house. And so it ended up working out real well.
Well, today we've been working on this tree job, and this is a driveway that I did a while back, and this driveway is really shot, and so I did a lot of work on this to get it. And this is one that I really should have recorded. I've got some before and after pictures that are really nice, but I probably should put those together because this was a really big deal. There's a lot of ruts in here, but there wasn't a ditch on either side, and so I cut a ditch down both sides, and then brought a lot of new road base material in, and built the center of it up, so now it slopes off of both sides, and so far it's held up some really good rains, and it's nice and solid on top, so I'm thrilled with that. But I did some trees up here, and actually did some forestry mulching this summer up here, and so my new helper and I just came up here this week, or just today, and we looked at it this week. We came up today and cut down some more trees, and so I'll show you what we did. One of them is right here beside the road. It was the stumps right there, and it went right up over the road like that, so we cut that down and hauled it away. Probably got to take that old snag down, but anyway, here we are at the top. It's my new little company truck from my new little company guy. We had 2 trees that were right up over there. I dropped the big one right across the driveway here, and the other one back in the woods, and got those cleaned up. Dropped another one over here that we haven't processed yet. It's still laying down there. This is Benji. Say hi, Benji.
Hello.
That's my new dude. He's strong and he's cute, but he ain't that smart. So the big deal of the day was these trees here, and I'm going to come back and do a lot of cleanup here at some point in the future, but this one that's closest to the house right here was the tricky one, because it was sort of maybe leaning back toward the house a little bit. It wasn't convincingly leaning away from it like some of these other ones were, so we hooked a line to it and pulled it from the bobcat way down there. So we cut 4 right here that were pretty decent sized trees, maybe about the size of that one. That one's coming down next, but we put all the stuff right here. So this is an area that I ran the forestry mulcher. This is all woods back in July, and then I came in and mulched a bunch of stuff in this area. And so we were trying to decide what we were going to do with all the trees that we were processing today, and we were talking about maybe getting a chipper and chipping all this stuff up. It's a pretty big pile, and but I'm just on the verge of actually getting a forestry mulcher, so before too long I'll have one. And so I'll come up here and process up this stuff, and there's another area down here I'm going to use to process some stuff, and there's a bunch of trees that I've already cut down that are over the hill that I can't really drive down to, but most of them are pretty small, so I can pull them out. So I'm going to process them down there at some point, probably not anytime right away, but once we get the opportunity, wants to take this clear area that I've done here and move it that way. So I'll probably end up mulching through this area over here, and then sort of processing this out some more and making it look real good. So anyway, that's what we did today.